Coach, on the 3rd-and-2, the last play, the screen pass to Blake Bell, is he the, it's been kind of phrased, there's been a lot of conversation about that play, that he was the only option on that, and that's why Patrick that's kind of what he intimated in his post-game comments, and it wasn't there, so he slid down to protect the ball and keep the clock going. But is that right? Was he the only option on that?
Oh, yeah, he was the only option on that play. Every week we sit and have these discussions on scenarios that come up. Kudos to Tennessee. They did a heck of a job. They defended it. They made the play when they needed to make it. We didn't make the play.
So Pat's only option there, once Blake Bell's covered, is to try to run for first down.
I thought he did a smart job, staying in bounds, keeping the clock running.
But that's it. Just to follow up on that, that's it. His run is the only other option he's got.
Exactly.
So,
I was sorry, Sharon. I'm just going to ask, were you guys in 4-down mode there if Pat hadn't been sacked? I mean, if you hadn't lost 5 or 6 yards on that play?
You know what? That was a scenario that was discussed, but we also felt pretty good about our special teams, and we felt that we would get it done. So one thing that we do as a staff, we always sit and go through the scenarios. We plan each and every game out. When it's all said and done with, we make each and every decision wholeheartedly. We all in. So we were all in. We knew the consequences. It's just like any other play. Some plays are successful, some plays aren't. But that's why you play a team game as well.
Just on stay on that one. Sorry for on Blake Bell. He left the game, came back into the game, and now he's not practicing this week. So it seems like that was a fairly serious injury, right? If he can't go now. So I'm curious how the lines of communication work as to him coming in. What I'm getting at is he limping around and not really able to get open on that play, but somewhere the line of communication broke down and he shouldn't have been in the game, and therefore you had a player who couldn't make the play he was designed to make.
No, there was no line of communication that was broken. At that time, he was up. He was playing. He was able to go. So we called the play that we felt that was the best play for our interest at that particular time with a player that was up and playing. So that was the play.
Is it on him to decide whether or not he's up or not? I mean, whether or not he can go? I just want to understand how it works. I know injuries are a big secret veil in this league, but the guy's not practicing 4 days later, but he was okay and up at the time. I know everyone's a tough guy and they want to go out and gut it out, but did the team get hurt because a guy who couldn't execute was on the field?
Mitchell Schwartz got hurt. He lined up and played. Cam was hobbling around. He lined up and played. There were a number of guys who took some shots and found a way to get themselves back on the field. So Blake was one of those guys, and I commend him for his effort and what he gave us. So, yes, he was on the field.
Eric, it seems that drops are becoming a little bit more prevalent in the last couple of weeks. Just from what you see on tape, just how much is that is slowing you guys down, particularly when you're on the plus side of the field and when you get past the 50-yard line?
Focus is everything. More than anything, we want our guys to focus on all the little detail aspects of what we do. Obviously, you got to look the ball into your hands. That's a huge thing in what we preach and what we do. So we got to make sure that we're paying attention to the little detail aspects of everything, as far as how we walk into this building, how we walk into each and every meeting, how we conduct our meetings. On top of that, how we handle ourselves going from the meeting to the field. On top of that, how we handle ourselves in individual periods and in each and every team period. And then how we handling those film sessions. So one thing, we want to make sure that we're turning over every stone and not leaving anything questioning how we do it. But when it's all said and done with, we all have a job to do, and we're expecting our guys to be great when their time is called.
One player that I thought about in particular was David Williams, and I know your experience being from a running back. What message can you or Andy give to him when you get 8 yards on the first 2 plays with Damian and then choose to not go to him? What could be the message to keep him still motivated, understanding he was probably thinking he was probably going to get the ball on 3rd-2 based on what happened in the previous 2 plays?
Well, the message here's the message to all our players. All of our plays are designed to go for a touchdown, regardless of what we play. One thing that we understand is that we have great people who happen to be great football players. Our guys don't get caught up in numbers. The only thing our guys get caught up in is the W or the L. You guys have heard me say this before. The only thing that matters is the alphabets. okay? The numbers will take care of itself. We're on a journey, okay? And that journey is to take us to Miami. Along the road, okay, we've encountered a few bumps, and that's okay. One thing that you do throughout when you're encountering these bumps in the road, you find out a little bit about yourself, and you find out about the men that are in that circle with you. And so through those adverse situations, you watch men persevere. And so even though some of these things have happened, sometimes without no bad luck, we wouldn't have any good luck at all. So we're using this as something to help us to take a look in the mirror, each and every individual, on how we approach every single thing that we do.
I guess maybe a follow-up to that, Eric, is how would you say Damian has handled post that game in your eyes?
Well, I thought he did a hell of a job of handling. I mean, first and foremost, we win as a team, we lose as a team. I thought he's done a great job of handling it. More than anything, nobody likes to lose. And that was the biggest thing that came out of it, is that we lost the game. When it's all said and done with, if we win, there's nothing to be said or be discussed.
Where are you at with LaShawn McCoy, and what are the expectations for him the rest of the way?
You know what? Coach has been doing a great job of just managing his time and making sure that he's here and available to help us along the stretch. But when it's all said and done with, we just want him to be at his best when his best is needed.
You guys ended up taking 3 field goals on 4th and 2 and 4th and 3 and 4th and 2 again for the first 3 quarters. What kind of conversations do you guys have on the sidelines whenever you're looking at 4th and short? You said that was on the table if Patrick wouldn't have taken the sack and slid at the end of the game. What are you guys going through there? Is there a rule of thumb? Is it feel the situation whenever you're looking at 4th and short like that?
Well, there's always a conversation that's taking place in advance as we go through it, and that takes place on each and every drive. We're talking to our coaches upstairs. Lines of communication are open. Obviously, you want to evaluate each situation and use each situation, on its own standards, on its own ground. But like I said, I believe our level of communication has been great.
Do you expect to have Damian Williams available Monday?
Yes, I do.
Well, he's excused today, so that's why we're asking.
Oh, well, I'm not going to talk about his personal whatever, so that's not for me to discuss. You guys can have that conversation with the head
We
coach.
don't know when he's coming back, so that's why we're asking, is he going to be back for game time on Monday?
Well, I would leave that up to the head coach. You guys can, my job is to
I understand.
coordinate the offense.
Our job is to ask.
Yes, you good with that, bro?
Eric, I also wanted to ask about the play where Patrick Mahomes has the jump pass to McCole Hardman. It seems like McCole has a couple different options the way he breaks out of that, and they were on the same page on that. How much first of all, I guess, is that accurate? And second of all, how much is that part of his growth and what you need to see from him to get him on the field?
Well, first of all, you saw 2 guys that have developed a great chemistry throughout the entire offseason and into the season together. And obviously they were on the same page. I thought McCole did a heck of a job just accelerating up the field after the catch. We always preach that. One thing with Pat always has a way of showing up and showing you some different tools that he has in his toolbox. I thought he did a great job. It was a hell of a pass. It was a hell of a play. And it was just a great moment in that particular time. The unfortunate thing is that we didn't finish.
Coach, the Chiefs right now rank among the league leaders in the use of 12 personnel packages. How much does Blake Bell's injury affect what you want to do? And then going into a game plan, the use of 12 personnel, is that dictated by the opponent, or you typically go with the flow of the game based on situation?
I think that's always dictated by the opponent. And our motto, next man up. So if someone was to get injured, our next available player needs to play. And we expect that guy to go out and play at a high level.
What is it with the affinity with the 12 personnel when the rage around the NFL seems to be 11 personnel?
Well, I think to each his own. I think that we love our 12 personnel. We also love our 11 personnel. We love our 22 personnel. We love our 21 personnel. So we're not opposed to using any personnel in any given situation. But if we feel that we're going to create the best matchups, then that's what we're going to utilize for that particular moment.
Anyone else? This is a little off topic, but do you have any thoughts on the fight from the Steelers-Browns game?
Unfortunately, I might be one of the only guys that really don't have an opinion because I've been so locked into what's taking place and getting our guys ready. So whatever is taking place, I'm sure the league will handle it.